I had talked to Cheo Coker like a while back before Luke Cage season 2 dropped, and one of the things that he was saying going into like writing for that season was that he took a lot of the criticisms, like good and bad, and it kind of tied into how they kind of structured season 2. And you see the improvement there. So did y'all kind of approach that for Iron Fist season 2?
I come from this from a slightly different place. I was not around for season 1.
Okay.
I am new to the Marvel family, and I come from a sort of a nerd-centric world where I've read a whole lot of comic books and I love the character. So what I got really excited about was the opportunity when I sat down with Marvel for the first time and sort of heard that this job was available, was to tell an Iron Fist story that I wanted to tell. And of course we leapt off from and also look, in between season 1 there's been the Defenders, right, and then also now this Luke Cage season 2. Luke Cage. So I had the opportunity to sort of tell the story I always wanted to tell. And we leapt off from the place where Defenders ended, but so it really was a chance for me to do something I wanted to do since I was 12 years old.
It's like clean slate, essentially, kind of.
It's an evolution.
It's an evolution from season 1, but so I just
feel like we're very forward-thinking guys. We're very, we see with a task in hand and we just commit to it. It's like. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, all I wanted to do, where my head was at, was I just wanted to come into season 2 with 110% of my energy and just give the best version of Danny Rand to the show that I possibly could. And that's all, like, my mind was just on the prize, and that was the only thing that I was racing towards. And luckily, Raven came on board, the same kind of ethos. We were surrounded by a great group of people this season that had the same ethos in their head as well, and it was I felt like it was a really productive and a really fun season 2.
Yeah, and also we were talking about this the past couple of days, but there's also like a little bit of a kismet to it. We actually met at Comic Con.
Tell the story.
We met no,
this is amazing. So this time last year, we was at what party?
It was Nerd HQ, right? We didn't know each other. We talked on the phone. We never met.
And I was there by myself.
Right.
And I see this kid who's playing Mortal Kombat on like the one of the games.
Yeah, that old school arcade games.
Yeah, old school. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go play Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. So I start playing Mortal Kombat with this kid. This kid annihilates me, like absolutely annihilates me, and I'm just like, all right, okay, well,
So then my turns out this kid is my son, right? So my son comes over and he's like, oh, I was just playing Mortal Kombat with this dude. I just totally annihilated him, but he was really cool. It was so much fun. Oh, this party's awesome. And then I look over and I'm like, oh, look, that's Finn Jones.
We haven't met yet.
So I come over, I'm like, hey, Finn, I'm Raven. This is my son, Orion. And they're both like, we were just playing each other in Mortal Kombat. So we started in Kung Fu in a weird way, and we started with a familial connection, and we were at this, and we just ended up that night.
We just chatted.
We just chatted. We spent 2 hours just talking and talking, and then we ended up walking down the streets of San Diego, as I'm sure you guys will do, when it's sort of closing down and quieting down, and we looked up and there was a big giant banner of the Defenders with Finn up there, and I was like, whoa. Imagine if next year there's like Iron Fist season 2 banner up there. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. And then we were like, we're gonna have to work really hard. And that was sort of the moment we were like, we're just gonna do this.
And it just felt right. When like things just come together and it's like, whoa. It was like one of those moments, and it was super exciting. And ever since then, it's just been
and then along the way, the collaboration has just been with
a collaboration
and with Jessica and with Simone and Alice, and all the directors that we brought this year and the new writers that we brought. It's just been a really positive, powerful experience.
Yeah.
Now, after Defenders and being in Luke Cage season 2, how do you think Danny sees himself in the place with all of these, heroes surrounded by him?
Well, Danny, at the end of Defenders, the last thing Matt said to him before was that he wanted Danny to protect his city. And as we see in the episode in Luke Cage, he's protecting downtown and Luke is protecting uptown. So when we see Danny, first of all, in season 2, he is taking that responsibility very seriously. He's on the streets, being the vigilante, protecting the streets of downtown New York, whilst also he's just moved in with Colleen, his girlfriend. So he's kind of at that age, and I'm sure maybe some of you know the experience, when you're just hitting your early 20s and you've just got this new job and you're moving in with your girlfriend for this first time, and everything's just kind of finally finding its balance, but with that becomes new kind of
challenges.
Challenges. And I think it's totally relatable. Danny's in a very relatable place for a lot of audience members because of that, trying to balance those things.
Are we going to get the Heroes for Hire storyline in this upcoming season?
Mike isn't, unfortunately, in season 2. I wish he was. Like, I love working with Mike. I hope to see more Heroes for Hire in the future. I think it's a great pairing. I think Heroes for Hire with Daughters of the Dragon is just like gold. So hopefully that will happen later on down the line. But right now we're just focusing on a true Iron Fist story.
But also like having Simone with us and having Misty Knight with us, it keeps the shows like the rest of the sort of all of the shows in the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Netflix is like they're all interconnected, right? And so having Simone, it keeps the keeps that alive. You know? Yeah. So there's moments I think you guys will see where we refer to stuff that's going on in other shows, and it feels it's all we're firmly in the timeline and in the universe.
Yeah.
From the clips that we saw yesterday, it seemed it was more action, obviously. So would this season be more action oriented, and with everybody involved between Danny and Colleen?
Well, there's a I'd say we also evolved the action. So I think that and we brought this amazing stunt coordinator, Clayton Barber, and also all of our cast really, I mean, look, they just went for it, and they really pushed themselves. Finn really went to a place where he had months of lead time for the season to really hone his skills, and not just in fighting, but also in stunt work. And it was a really powerful experience. So I think the action has evolved, but I think it's not just that. Like the character stories as well. We dug deeper into characters and deeper into relationships, and I'm really proud of the dramatic side of the show as well. And I think everyone's going to be excited about it. That's the really fun thing about these shows on Netflix is that, and also the Marvel universe in general, is like there's the action and there's the superhero element. There's also these really rich, grounded characters. So, I mean, and
it's like what you said before. Like in every fight this season, they all have a reason. They have an emotional standpoint. They're driving the story forward. There's no fights just for the sake of, hey, let's get these two people together and fight. Like, it's all about driving the narrative and driving the characterization, which for an actor is great, because not only are you doing these awesome fight scenes, but you're also telling the story at the same time. Hey, welcome to the fray.
Now, one of the things that stood out to me at the panel was that one of the clips took place in Pomona, which we didn't really get to see very much of in season 1. So can you talk a little bit about why it was so important to bring Quinlan in and how we see Danny in the past?
That scene looked gorgeous, by the way. It was the first time I saw it yesterday, and seeing it on that screen and just like the sound effects and everything, like hats off to everyone involved, because I was blown away by it.
Yeah, and I think also it just goes back to what we were talking about before, like grounding character stories in relatable emotion. Like if you're going to tell a story about Danny and about Davos, then in the present day, to me, you want to balance that with what their relationship was in the past. In order to do that, you got to go to Colleen. And I think that the way we chose to do it, I think, is different than in season 1, and really kind of exciting, you know.
It really sets up for a lot of the story going forward as well.
Yeah.
Me and Davos to like go back there and see Kunlun. It really makes you understand where the characters are coming from this season. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah. Were there any tonal or stylistic changes you were going for compared to season 1?
I think, again, I don't like to compare things. I mean, I think that season 2, we took a holistic approach to creating a season of television in which, it had a real feel. We really wanted it to feel, to be on the streets of New York, so in that way the world of the show is different, and that's a big sea change comparatively, because we're not in the Rand Corporation, we're out on the streets of New York, and so and we brought a really talented DP, Niels Alper's fantastic, and again it's all about that's the cool thing about this medium, it's about collaboration, so it's all about the through line through. So our DP learned a lot about action from our stunt coordinator and vice versa, and working with the actors and their relationship with those department heads. So I think it feels like a whole, and it's interesting and new.
Can we get one question for Jessica?
Last question.
Yeah, go for it.
Colleen's character kind of started off the show in one specific way and then had her whole world turned upside down. She had to basically kind of regain a piece of herself. And you see a lot of that transition actually in Luke Cage as she's trying to help Misty Knight regain her footing. Are we going to see Colleen's character in the new season kind of being like still going through that, or is she going to become stronger?
No, she's definitely still going through it. I don't think she's kind of floundering in the same way that she knows that she's able to help Misty, and Misty comes and is able to help her.
Are we going to get any more Misty and Colleen shenanigans like in Luke Cage? That was an awesome scene.
That was cool, right? Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool.
All right, thank you very much.